So we study Bhatti-kavya. So we begin the study of Bhatti-kavya, and primarily it is to revive our Vyakarana. So it is Kavya, it is poetry written by Bhatti, and the way he wrote it, that he has tried to utilize the various sutras of Panini, not all of them. There is a story that the king wanted his sons to be educated quickly. So he took up the job, and for that he wrote this book that they will study and they will learn Vyakarana along with this Kavya. So this is considered as a Mahakavya. There are Kavyas and Mahakavyas. Mahakavya is a type of category of the Kavyas, certain characteristics it's supposed to have. So some of the characteristic of Mahakavya is that they have like what you call chapters called sarga, and it should have minimum 8 sargas and maximum generally 30. So if some kavya has got sargas like that, then it is called Mahakavya. So this book has got 22 sargas. That is one of the characteristic. Another characteristic is that generally in one sarga or one chapter you should use only one type of meter. And at the end of the chapter you should change the meter and then use another one. So that is also characteristic which you will see here. Then the kavyas or mahakavyas, they are always describing the stories of either great sages or great kings. So like here the story of Bhagavan Ramchandra is there, or we have like Shishupal Vadha of Magha, where Krishna's story, or Kirat Arjuniyam is there, where the fight between Arjuna and Shiva is being described. So various Mahakavyas are there. So they will have some history from the Puranas or Mahabharata. These are the two major books, Purana Itihasas. So that is one of the characteristic. It is also that it should have a hero. So there are 4 types. So generally it should have Dhirodatta. That is the most favorite type of hero. Means who is valorous, educated, well behaved, very dharmic, gentle, dedicated to do welfare to people. So therefore here the hero is Bhagavan Ram. There can be more than one also. Nayakas, heroes, not necessarily, but generally you'll only see one of them. Then it should also have one prominent rasa. Others can be secondary, but there should be one major rasa which is being described. So here also we have, I think the Karuna rasa is there in this. Then there are other conditions. It should describe the beauty of the nature. There should be description of the mountains, trees, forest, rivers, seasons, behavior of various types of peoples. So there are a lot of description which are given in original book is Bharata's Natya Shastra. There are 10 types of Natakas and 18 types of Upanatakas. So I just can read a little bit, one or two slokas from Sahitya Darpan. So you see, these kavyas are not just people just write like that. There are a lot of rules to be followed, and if you see Natya Shastra of Bharat Muni, chapters after chapters he describes. So there are Natakamat Prakaranam Bhan Vyayoga Samavakara Dima Iha Mriganka Vitya Prahasnamiti Rupakani Dash. So there are 10 types of these Rupakas which have their own characteristic. Everyone. So whether it is a Bhana, is it a Vyayoga, it is a Dima, Avakara, Prakarana, Nataka, Iha Mriga, Anka, Vithi, Prahasan. So these are various names. So depending on which type one is writing, then there are rules for that. What kind of players will be there? Also, who will speak what kind of language? Not all, everybody speaks Sanskrit. They also speak Prakrit Bhasha, depending on their level in the society. So these are all various things which have to be followed. Then there are 18 types of secondary ones. Natika, Trotakam, Goshti, Sattakam, Natya Rasakam, Prasthano, Lapya Kavyani, Prengshanam, Rasakam, Tatha, Sanlapakam, Srigaditam, Silpakam cha Vilasika, Durmallika Prakarni, Halli Shobhani Katicha, Ashtadas Prahu, Uparupakani, Manishana. So the 10 are the Rupakas and these are Uparupakas. 18 types. And here there is not much detail, but all the details are given by Bharat Muni. So there is so much variety in Sanskrit literature. And then he speaks about what kind of actors it will have, what kind of rasas, heroes, what kind of statements, and how many slokas there should be, how should it begin, how should it end, in between. A lot of conditions are there. So therefore this is also one of the Mahakavyas. But its main importance is that it speaks about the grammatical part. And after this was written, then many other people wrote on imitating this. There is a Yaduvam's Kavya by Kashinath, which is based on Bhagavatam. And there is Ravana Arjuniyam, fight between Ravana and Kartavirya Arjuna. And that actually utilizes illustrates all the sutras of Panini. Here all sutras are not illustrated. Then there is Subhadra Haranam, kidnapping of Subhadra by Arjuna. Bhaṭṭi-kāvyam, there is Vasudev Vijayam. So many others, I have not seen them. I think the most common is this Bhatti-kavya. So it was written by somebody called Bhatti, not much is known, as is the case with most Indian authors. They don't write much about themselves. So some people say his name was Bhartrihari, but then they say it is not the same Bhartrihari. So these days people do a lot of research. When it happened, who was the person, where did he live. So there is one sloka which he himself writes in the last sarga, where he says, Kavyam idam vihitam maya valabhyam sridhar sena narendra paletayam kirtiriyam bhavtadato nirpashya khemakara kshitipoyato yatah prajanam. He says that I have composed this kavya in the city of Valabhi. So Valabhi is in Saurashtra, Gujarat. And he says it is ruled by King Sridhar Sena. So that's the only thing which we know from here, that there was a king Sridhar Sena ruling over Vallabhi in Saurashtra, and he was in the court of that king. So now the researchers have done research, and it says that there have been 4 Sridhar Senas in Vallabhi. So beginning before 495 AD up to 641. So there is a lot of research, because they also found some inscriptions, so that their periods are very clear from the inscriptions. So it seems that he must have lived somewhere in end of 5th century or 6th century. That's the period most people think. Maximum 7th century. His father's name is supposed to be Swami, which doesn't mean much. There are so many Swamis. But he was Brahman, and he wrote it in 1 year. That is what is said. Because this reference to Bhatti is found in Bhoj Prabandha. And there it is mentioned that it was written, the name Bhatti actually comes from there. Otherwise you don't know who wrote it, because he doesn't write anywhere. So it says that there are 2 things, that there is an illustration of Panini Sutras, and we will correspondingly try to study Harinamamrita Vyakaran Sutras, because we finished Harinamamrita Vyakaran about a month ago. So now it is good to revise that by reading this. So what we are going to do is that we will study it, and the commentators of Bhatti-kavya, they give sutras of Panini and how the words are formed. So correspondingly we will see the Harinamamrita Vyakaran Sutras, and Vilasji has kindly put together this concordance of Harinamamrita Vyakaran Sutras. Okay, we know it from you. So Matsya Avatar did it, but he has, I think, sent, everybody has that. So you will see that. So this book has 22 sargas, but it is divided into 4 parts, according to the commentator, not according to him. So the first part is called Prakirna Kanda, and this has the first 4 sargas. So Prakirna means miscellaneous, or where things are thrown together, Kri Vikaran in Dhatu. So means that there is no standard procedure of which kind of sutras are coming in these 4. You may get sutras from the first chapter of Panini or the 8th chapter and so on. Then the second, so this is first 4 sargas. Then the second is sarga 5 to 9, 5 sargas. So that is called Adhikar Kanda. So you know that in sutras we have Adhikar Sutras. So there is an Adhikar Sutra which applies to many sutras which are coming. So then what he has done is that all the sutras which come in a particular Adhikara, he will make slokas where all the sutras will be utilized. Then he will take another Adhikara. So he is telling you the story, but in between he is doing this. So that is the Adhikar. Then there is a third is called Prasanna Kanda, and this is quite big, I think. No, it is also 4. Sarga 10 to 13. So this is something sort of a deviation from Vyakaran. Here he talks about rhetorics, the Alankaras. Although that is not part of Vyakaran, but he has also done that. So in the 4 sargas, he will talk about the various Alankaras, the Madhuryas, the Ritis, Alankaras, the Bhavas. So all this also he has done. So besides Vyakarana, you also deal with Alankaras. And then the last part, which is from Sarga 14 to 22, This is called Tiganta Kanda. So Tiganta means Akhyat. So here he will deal with all the 9 lakaras. Lat lakar, lit lakar, lut lakar, ling lakar, all that. And then he will obviously go, he will take the lit lakar, and then, for example, the sarga number 14 is only about lit lakar. So that is adhokshaja for us, I think. Lit is adhokshaja. And then sarga 15 is about lang lakar. So bhutesh, bhuteshwara. Then sarga 16 is lit lakar. Kalki or Bal Kalki. Then sarga 17 lang lakar. So sarga 18 is lat lakar, achyuta. Sarga 19 is ling lakar, vidhiling, ashurling. Sarga 20 is lot lakar. Okay. Then sarga 21 is ling lakar. So that is Kalki, I think. And then sarga 22 is lut lakar. No, ling is that ajita. So in one sarga he will only use that particular tense or lakar. So this is how is the scheme of this book. So let's do one sloka. So now what your job is that since you all have the list and you have the book, and in the book he actually gives the sutra number. That's why I chose. There are other commentators, but they give the sutra but not the number. So he actually gives the number. So then it is easy for you to trace it. So you should now find corresponding Harinama Vrita sutras. That is your homework. I don't have time for that. So you should come prepared with that, and then you should tell, okay, this word is formed like this. That's how we are going to do. And that's how we will study. That's how Harinama Vrita will get churned up. So we are going to read this Jayamangala commentary. There are many commentaries written on this book. And the famous, this Jayamangala and also Mallinath. There are 2 commentaries at least in this one. So Sarvapathina is by Mallinath, famous commentator. So Atha Prathama Sarga. So this is the first chapter. Abhun Nripo Vibud Sakha Parantapaha Shrutanvito Dashratha Ityudahritaha Gunaivaram Bhuvan Hitchalenayam Sanatana Pitram Upagamat Swayam. So he says that Abhut Nripaha Vibud Sakaha Parantapaha Shrutanvitaha Dashrataha. So this is Dashratha is the name of Bhagwan Ram's father. So Abhut is the verb. So he begins with Abhut. There is no Mangalacharan he has done, because the whole book is a Mangalacharan. It's all about Bhagwan Ram. And some people say that the word Abhut itself is Mangalacharan. So that's why he begins with Abhut. So Dasratha Abhut, that is basically the sentence. That King Dashratha appeared or existed, Abhut. And he is Nripa, he is king, and he is Vibhuda Sakha. Vibhuda Sakha means friend of Indra. And he is Parantapa. He is the one who victorious over his enemies. And he is Shrutanvita. He is educated. His name is Dashratha, because his fame spread in all 10 directions. So he is Dashratha. At Gunair Varam, so what happens that, so he is one of the thing about this is unlike in Ramayana, which has 24,000 slokas, this has only 1500 and 60 slokas. So obviously he cannot go into much details here. So therefore he packs much story in one sloka. If you read the same thing in Valmiki Narayan Ramayana, probably you will have 20 slokas saying the same thing. So gunair varam bhuvan hit chalena yam sanatana pitaram upagamat swayam. So Sanatana is Bhagavan Vishnu. So he appeared from his father, or he accepted him his father himself. Gunairvaram bhuvan hit chalena, to do good to the world. He accepted him as his father. So that is the meaning of this. So I will see the commentary little bit here, but mostly his grammar will come. So Jayamangala Vyakhya, explanation or commentary Jayamangala. Pranipatya sakal vedinam ati dustar bhatti-kavya salal nidhe Jayamangala iti namna noke virachyate tika. So the author's name is also Jayamangal, and he writes commentary Jayamangala. So he says Jayamangala iti namna nauka iva virachyate tika. He says I am writing this tika or commentary called Jayamangala, which is like a boat. Why it is a boat? He says because this Bhatti-kavya is like an ocean. Bhatti-kavya salila nidhehe ati dustara, and it is very difficult to cross over it. So therefore I am making a little boat. So out of humility he is not saying that he is making a ship. But it says nauka, like a boat. And pranipatya sakal vedinam. So after bowing down to the omniscient Lord, ati dustara bhatti-kavya salinidhe. So ati dustara is the adjective of bhatti-kavya. That this bhatti-kavya is ati dustara. It's very difficult to get into it and understand. So now he writes, he says, Lakshya lakshanam cha ubhayam ekatra vibudaha pradarshaitum Shri Swami Sunuhu Kavi Bhattir Nama Ram Kathashrayam Sri Ramacharitam Nama Mahakavyam Chakara. So he says that Kavi, whose name is Bhatti and who is son of Sri Swami, to show Lakshya and Lakshana in one place, means to illustrate the sutras and their application in the form of the story. Two things together, the intelligent, Vibudha also means Deva, Vibudha also means learned. So to show that he has taken shelter of the story of Bhagavan Ram Kathashrayam. Okay? And Sri Ramacharitam Nam Mahakavyam Chakara. So although it is called Bhatti-kavya popularly, but he says that its name is also Sri Ramacharitam. And that is actually the name of this kavya. So this is also one of the requirement of Mahakavya, that it should be either named after the author or it should be named after the hero, etc., or the story. There are rules for everything. It's not that you can just give name whatever you say. Bhatti-kavya has become popular because of the author. Tasya cha upanibandhanam kavina dvidha kritam. So the upanibandhanam means that writing of this kavya has been done in two ways by the author. Ekam lakshan suchakahi prakirna adhikara prasanna tiganta kantair chaturbhi. Dvitiyam laksha suchakai rama sambhavadibhir dvavinsati sargai. So he says that one is the Lakshana. Lakshana basically means utilization of the rules. And Lakshya is the story which is being described. So when it comes to Lakshana, he says it is divided into 4 parts, this book. And those 4 parts are Prakirna Kanda, Adhikar Kanda, Prasanna Kanda and Tiganta Kanda, Chaturbhi. So as I described already that in the Prakirna you have the mixture, then you have the Adhikar Sutras, then you have the Alankaras, Prasanna Kanda, and then the Lakaras. And the other one, Lakshya Suchaka, is the whole story continuously flows from beginning till the killing of Ravana. So Rama Sambhavadi Bhir Dwadis. Ram Sambhava means birth of Ram. So it begins with birth of Ram and then continues. Tacha Lakshanam Dvividham. And this Lakshana is also of 2 types. Shabda Lakshanam, Kavya Lakshanam. So it gives the rules of the Shabda, those are the Vyakarana rules, and Kavya Lakshana are the Alankaras. Tatra Prathamasya Trini Prakrina Adhikara Tingant Kandani, Dvitiyasya tu Ekam Prasanna Kandam. So the first one, the Shabda Lakshana, there are 3 kandas or 3 divisions dealing with that, and with the second one there is only one Prasanna Kanda which talks about the Alankara part. Yatra cha uchchavachena bahunam lakshananam prakaranam tat prakirana kandam. So uchchavache means high and low. So where that which is a mixture of various types of sutras taken from beginning. Uchchavacha means from the beginning, from the end, not only one particular part of Astadhyayi. So that is called Prakirana Kanda. So that's why it is called miscellaneous part. Tadeva chatra prathama muktam tasya vyapitvat. And therefore this is the one which has been spoken here as the first. But then he says that this also goes along because in others also there is going to be some mixture. Here is more. Uttaratrapi drashtavyam iti pradarashanartham. So says whenever he says uttaratrapi drashtavyam means you should also see it later. That is to indicate that. Atra yadyapi adau kavina devata namaskaro na krita tathapi ishta devata sankirtanam api vignopshnaman hetur bhavati iti manyamana aha bhutiti. So he says, although here the author has not done namaskar or paid his homage to Ishta Devata, but Ishta Devata Sankirtanam api Vignas Upsamanam. But because this whole book is description of Bhagavan Ram only, it is describing his story, so therefore that itself will dispel the obstacles. Because this is one very important part of Indian authors to do Mangalacharan, Vigna Upshantaye, to remove the obstacle. So considering like that, he just begins with the story Abhutiti. Tasya hi Ishta Devata Sanatano Vishnu. So his Ishta Devata of Bhatti is Sanatana, that is Vishnu, Bhagavan Ram. Sacha Adau Kirtitaha. Therefore he has been described in the very first verse. Tat pratibandhana cha yam katha iti prabandhana eva atra sankirtanam Ramayanavat. And this because this story describes this Kavya describes the story of Bhagavan Ram. So therefore this is just like Sankirtan of Ram, like Ramayana. Tatra Vishnor yasmin kale jagat karyavashad avatarah kritas tadeva pratham darshayati. So he says that the period when Vishnu himself descended to perform the work of the world, to do welfare to the world, so he shows that in the very beginning. So that also shows like a Mangalacharan, because it is describing why he appeared here, to do good. Bhuvan hita chalen. So on the pretext of doing good to people, he came here. So now he comes to the sutra. So first word is abhut. So abhut is made from bhudhatu and it is lung lakar. So that is bhutesh, right? Diptaman siktam tapamvama. So dhate purva mat, right? So we have to now speak the sutras. So bhudhatu, dip, apratya, dhatu purva mat, bhuteshwar, bhutesh, ajitesha. So it becomes a bhut. In dip paijit, ijit, tare means abhut. So bhuta iti artha. What is the meaning of abhuta? Bhuta means it happened, or he appeared, or he existed. Bhudhatu, bhusattayam. Right? Bhavadigan, this is the first dhatu. That is another interesting thing, because bhu is the first dhatu. So he uses the first dhatu in his first word. And it's also Bhutes, master of the Bhutas, from our Harinamurti Vyakaran point of view. So Anyatha Ragya Chirat Chira Atitatvat Kavehe Parokshatvat Lit Syat. So actually he should have used lit lakar, which means babhuva, right? Because that is adhokshaja, paroksha. Because when you describe something which happened in the past, which has not been witnessed by you, then you use adhokshaja. But bhutesh is samanya. In general it can be used. But general popular usage is about lit, when you want to describe some historical fact to which you are not the witness. Obviously he is not the witness to that, so he is using that bhut samanya. Okay, but why is he using the word anyatha? Because he is saying bhuta ityartha anyatha. What is the sense of saying anyatha here? Because there has to be significance. Why he has used bhut samanya lung bhuta ityartha, that is fine. Bhuta. Bhuta also has some meaning like auspiciousness or anything like that. Yeah, it could be because of akshara namakaro asmi. Because he is saying anyatha. Anyatha means that otherwise, means he has preferred this for some reason, but doesn't say it directly. Okay.
I have a commentary, Babaji, and he said, Ragyaha chira atitatvat kavehe parokshatvat cha lit syat.
Yeah, that we read, that we also have, but I'm saying why the word anyatha before that? You have anyatha. So why anyatha?
I was thinking only in lit we'll get abhut, so maybe is mangala. In lit, in lung we'll get abhut, so maybe is mangala charan.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that he has used, he's not writing it, but I think because R signifies auspiciousness, so otherwise he has to say Babhuva Raja, Babhuva Nripa or something. So now, yeah.
But then what would be the meaning of this bhuta then? This is bhuta iti artha?
Which one? Bhuta ityartha?
Yes.
Means he existed. Bhudhatukta pratyaya. Abhuta means what? Abhuta means it happened.
Okay, so the Vishnu.
Yeah.
Vishnu. Okay.
So now he is giving the sutras how the word abhuta is formed. Because C is also applied. Sir bhute se. So he says that switch or look, C has been dropped. So these sutras you have to find yourself. You have, what is the sutra? Ser Mahahara.
Yeah, but in sthapibadi damodara bhubhyaha
Bhubhya Ser Mahara.
ser mahara parapade.
Okay. So that is the sutra. So by that you have dropped C. And Bhushuva Stangi iti gun pratishedha. And there is no guna here. So what is the sutra we have for that? Why Bhu did not become Bhod?
Yeah, let's say 55.
Dhatorantasya Govinda. So why Govinda did not happen? Sutra
55 in Akyad.
55. 55. Bhuvana Govinda Siluki. So these are the sutras we have to speak now. That's why you have to do homework. So that's why Nayatar Gincha iti Nayatar Onadik Rin Nara Manushya Stan Pati. Now, so this is the Abhut. Then the next word is Nripa. So how Nripa is made? So he is showing that. He says it is from Ni Dhatu. Nayatar Gincha iti Rin, Ri Pratyay is applied, and then you get Nri, and Nara Manushya, Stan Pati, because you have Nri and then you have Padhatu, Papalne, or Parakshayam, Rakshane. So then, Ato Anupsarga Ka. Now there is a mistake here. He also has a mistake. It is 323, not 3231. Because I searched, I said, what is this? I could not find it. Then I thought maybe it is 5262. Kept on trying, then I have to go back to Panini. Because this dhatu is pa, So I is dropped. This is Kridanta. Kridanta Karmani Anupendra Taramat Ka. Okay. And then you have Akarmani Aramat Ka. So this is the one which is applied here. Aramat Ka. But this is Karam, this is Nara manushata, no, you have to apply karma upapadaka. Dhatu vina upendra. Karmani anupendra aramatka. This is the sutra which will apply here. Sutra number 1419. Kridanta, Sutra 220. And if you are having the number from beginning to end, then it is 1419. So when you have a karma as an upapada and aramanta dhatu, then ka pratyaya is applied and aram is hara. After that ato anupsarge ka, then ato lopa. So you have nri, so nrin pati iti nripa. That is the vyutpatti. But what is the sutra which is applied? You have pa dhatu. Nri is upapada here. Pa dhatu is without any upsarga. There is no upsarga. Right? Because the sutra says karmani anupendrat. There shouldn't be no upendra or upsarga. There is no upsarga here. But there is a karma. Because nrin pati. Ditya bahuvachan. So now you apply ka. Okay? So it becomes nri because that vibhakti will be dropped. Then pa plus ka. Karamijit only a remains. But then ato aram hara, ato lopa. And for that you have Sutra 6464. So I don't know what is the number there. Can you give me the number? Ato lopa 6464.
Yes. So it's 542.
Of 542? Kridanta?
No, it's a continuous number.
Oh, continuous one. Okay, it comes in the dhatu part. I mean, kakhyat. 540. Aram hara kansari sarveshwar ram dhatu ke iti usi cha. So aram is dropped. We have kansari. So therefore it goes. And it is ram dhatu ka. Right? Anya pratyaya ram dhatu ka. So therefore I is dropped. That's why I got the nirpa. Otherwise you should have got a nirpa like Visupa. Okay? So it becomes nirpa. So nirpa, the meaning of nirpa is Raja. अत्यंत धर्म विजयत्वात् देवराजस्य मित्रम आसीद विबुध सखैति. So the next word is विबुध सखा. Right? अभूत नृप विबुध सखा. So it says अत्यंत धर्म विजयत्वात् देवराजस्य मित्रम आसीद. Because he was very dharma vijay, very pious. So therefore, Devaraj means Indra. So Dasratha was friend of Indra. Therefore, he is called Vibhuda Sakha. So now he is going to explain the word Vibhuda Sakha. Yeah.
So on the previous word, the nripa, right? And you said, and because of the Ara Mahara, Kamsari, Sarisha and so on, it's not like Vishvapa. So then Vishvapa, so Vishva, so if we make the Vyutpatti Vishvam Pati, or the, how's it called? Vigraha, Vakya, Vishvam Pati, then it would be Vishvapaha, right? By the same logic as Nripaha.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But there he is made in a different way. So now let's see Vibudha Sakha. So Vibudhyante iti Vibudha Deva. So there is a Buddha Dhatu, and V is the Upendra or Upsarga. So from that you have the Vibudha, Vibudhyante, those who are known, or, and Deva. So Vibudha means Deva, and he is chief among them, Pradhanatvat. So now he says that Tatra Igupudha Lakshana Ka सामान्य शब्दों अपि देवेषु वर्तमानो अपि अर्थवसाद चक्रे प्रयुक्त तस्य सखा इति. So he says that although the word Vibudha refers to any deva, in Amarkosha, in the very beginning, where is Mohini? Mohini! ये बहुत बोलती है अमरकोश. So recite Amarkos Vibudha. Amra Nirjara Deva.
Amra Nirjara Deva Vibudha Suratvishaha. No, that is Asuras. I don't remember now.
Amara Nirjara Devas Tridasha Vibhudasura.
Okay, good, thank you. So Vibudha is coming there. Amara, Nirjara, Deva, Tridiva, Vibhudasura, right? So that is the word Vibudha which comes there. So this is the word used for the Devas. Amara, Nirjara, they are all synonyms. It comes in the very first beginning of Amarkosh. So that is the Vibudha. So now he says that Samanya Shabdo api Deveshu Vartamano api Arthavashat Chakre Prayukta Tasya Sakha. So he says now the Vibudha Sakha, why are you taking the meaning of Vibudha as Indra? Vibudha is in general any Deva, it could be Vayu, it could be Surya, it could be Chandra, it could be Varuna, any Deva. So meaning is given also according to the context. So that's why he says Arthavashat. Chakra. Chakra means chakra. Chakra also means sugar. Shakkar. So here Vibudha, although sometimes the word Samanya is used in Vishesha, means word which is in general, but you use it for a specific person. So here Vibudha is general word for Deva, but used specifically for Indra here, because it said Vibudha Sakha. Otherwise, obviously he is not friend of every Deva, he is friend of one particular. So because that is known that it is Indra, therefore it is said here. So then there is a samas with the word Sakha. So Sakha is Sakhi. What is the original word? Sakhi, right? So how it became Ramanta? It is Iramanta word. So this is the Samasanta. Rajaha Sakhibhyas touch. So when you make the Samas compound word between Vibudhasya Sakha, Vibudhasya Sakha, Vibudha Sakha. So touch pratyaya is applied. What is our Harinamrit Vyakarana? Rajaha Sakhibhyas touch. For the Raja also, Rajan is there, nice done. And because it is touch, it is Chiti, Sansarasya Haras Chiti. So Iram is dropped, and in the touch Taijit, Chaijit, only Aram remains. So it becomes Aramanta. Sak, E is dropped. समझ आ रहा है ना? क्या? You have the word Sakhi, then you apply touch. Taijit, Chaijit, A remains, E is dropped, Sansarasya Haraschiti. So it becomes Sakha, therefore it becomes Vibudha Sakha. Otherwise the question is, the original word is Sakhi. And otherwise it is Sakha. Sakha Sakhayo Sakhaya. Sakhayam Sakhayo Sakhin. Sakhya Sakhibhyam Sakhibhi. It's Iramanta. क्या दिव्य याद कर सूत्र वूत्र ऐसे पंडित बना घूमता. ओके. सो अनेन धर्म विजयित्वं दर्शयति विबुध सखत्वस्य धर्म कार्यत्वात्. So by this what he is showing, because he is calling him as Dashratha. So Ratha means chariot. How when we say Maharatha, Maharatha means, what does Maharatha means? Big chariot. Big car. No, Maharatha means he is a big fighter. So Dasratha is also used here in that sense. That's why he is bringing the word Vijay. Vijay means who is victorious. So, anena, lekin, but there are 4 types of Veeras, right? Dharmveer, Yuddhaveer, Danveer, Dayaveer, right? So he is calling him here as Dharmveer, not just Yuddhaveer. He was Yuddhaveer also, but primarily Dharmveer. Why? Because he is calling him as Vibhuda Sakha. Who is Vibhuda? Here Indra. How do you become Indra? You have to do 100 Ashwamedh Yajna. Doing Yajna is Dharma. Athato Dharma Jigyasa. Purmimansa. Purmimansa is all about Yajna. So Indra did 100 Yajnas. Then he became Indra. That's why it's called Shatakratu. Shata means 100. Kratu means Yajna. One who has done 100, he becomes Indra. So therefore he is a very dharmic person. That is another thing that sometimes he slips here and there. But otherwise he is a very dharmic person. That's why he got the post of Indra. So that's why he says here that anena dharma vijayitvam darshayati vibudh sakhatvasya dharma karyatvat. So by using, because when the poet is using a word, he is not just using it just because it fits there. He also has, besides that, he has to bring a proper word which fits in the meter there. He also has to bring a word which has some significance in that context. That is the whole idea of Lakshya and Lakshana. So it must also not just fit in the meter and okay, now I have a nice meter, nice sloka. But he says, why Vibhuddha Sakha only? So it is indirectly, this is the Kavya, Vyanjana. That's where the Vyanjana comes, that he is a very dharmic person, and because Indra is dharmic, therefore he is called friend of Indra. Vibhuddha Sakha. So anena dharma vijayitvam darshayati vibhuddha sakhatvasya dharma karyatvat. Suraloka vijayinascha ye rajanas tesham dharma vijayi pradhanam. So he says that those who conquer over Suraloka, those kings, among them one who is conquering dharma, that is the chief. Pare shatravas trividha. So now the next one comes is Parantapa, right? Vibhuddha Sakha Parantapa. So Parantapa, how is Parantapa? Parantapa is also used for Arjuna, right? Where does it come, Parantapa? In Bhagavad Gita, any sloka coming to the mind? Parantapa. So Parantapa, how the word Parantapa is made? So Parantapati iti Parantapa. So tap dhatu. Tapyate tap. So tap means one to give heat. So one who troubles others. Para means others. So para here means Shatru. Swa para. Swa means your own friend, your own people. Para means enemies. So one who gives hassles to enemies is called parantapa. One who troubles enemies. Klavyam masmagama partha. Netatvayu paddate. Tyaktotishta parantapa. Good, thank you. So that is the word parantapa also coming here for Dashratha. So pare shatrava, the word para means enemy. And there are three types of enemies, he says. Uchchedaniya, upapidaniya, kakarshaniya. Kakarshaniya. Uchchedaniya, upapidaniya, karshaniya. So uchchedana means whom you cut into pieces. Upapida means whom you trouble, pida. And karshaniya means whom you pull, just pull his leg. Tatra te upapidaniyaka karshaniya stan paran stapayati parantapa. So he says, because if you kill them, then you are not parantapa. Because parantapa means one who troubles others. Now if you kill him, where is the question of giving him trouble now? So therefore out of three he says that parantapa applies only to the last two. So remove the uchchedaniya one. Tatriye upapidaniyaka karshaniya. So those who are upapidaniyaka and karshaniya. So karshan, karshan means pulling, and upida giving trouble. So he gives trouble to these two types of enemies. So therefore he is called parantapa. Parantapayati parantapa. Dusvat pariyos tapehe iti khach. So khach pratyaya is applied, and khach becomes mum. Mum comes from khachi rasva arudushajantas eti mum. Mum comes. That's why it is parantapa. Otherwise it should be paratapa. But when you apply khach, then mum pratyaya comes. That's how you get parantapa. So nripaiti anena swamandale vrittirakatya parantapaiti parmandale. So when you say nripa, that means that he has his authority in his own kingdom. That is what nripa means. When you say parantapa, means he has authority in the enemy's kingdoms. So that is this. You see how they use the word nripa and parantapa. We will say okay, but significance becomes clear from the commentary. So we'll stop here. And I think somebody should get the sutras coming out more. Then only fun will happen. We have to just bring out immediately the sutras, Harinama Vrtvakarana. And it's easy because he has given the numbers and we have the concordance. Braj Kishori.
Babaji, I have a question. So like in case of Buddha Sakha, we have etymology, but will that be discussed that this is the Shashtita Purusha Samasa or not? I mean, I assume it's Shashtita Purusha, but is it going to go in discussing the formation of Samasa and
everything we can discuss. He did not say it, but we can say it. Some things.
What about the Sandhi, like Abhun Ripo, so like...
yeah, we can, it's up to you, up to what detail you want to go. Things which are so easy, there is no point. I mean, Tatpurush Samas is so easy, there is nothing much to be said about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The tough things are Parantapa, where you have the Kach and where you have the Mum. So Parantapa is giving trouble to you also. how it is became Parantapa and not Paratapa. Okay, Mohini. Mohini, you better come up with your Amar Course ready. Whenever any word comes, you have to give the Amar Course sloka.
But I'm still quite at the beginning.
Wait, don't give me excuses. All the time you are asking question to us. Now it's your ball is in your court. Whenever we ask you any word Vibhuda, immediately Amar Course.
Right, but I know only the first surah.
Don't give excuse. Don't give excuse. Work hard.
Okay. So my question was like there is this Panini Sutra, and just before the Panini Sutra there is also another kind of number. For example,
So that is number according to the Astadhyayi Sutra. As you start one, you go to the last sutra. There are 3,996 sutras. So their sutras are also listed one by one. And the other sutras are according to this is the pada and this is the adhyaya pada, sutra number. So there are 8 adhyayas and 4 pada in each adhyaya and then sutras. So both he has given. So it's very easy to trace.
In the beginning I heard you said something about Bhaṭṭi-kāvyam, that this is mentioned in Bhoja Prabandha. What is this Bhoja Prabandha?
It's another book which talks about King Bhoja.
Ah, okay. It's also just another kavya.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
King Bhoja, in his kingdom, he made a rule that only those people who speak in Sanskrit can stay in his kingdom. If you don't speak Sanskrit, you are kicked out. Yeah, it's true. So he was a great scholar. He wrote this book, Sringar Tilak and Saraswati Kantabharnam. 2 great works he wrote. So previously the kings were very learned people. Bhartrihari himself was a king, Vakyapadeyam and Sringar Tilak and all that. So this king was coming from the forest and they were also king. He was also going for hunting. He was coming. Then he saw one guy coming from the forest and he was carrying wood on his head. So when the king came on the horse, he just asked him in Sanskrit that Kimapi badhati? That are you troubled by, you're carrying this weight. So the guy replied very intelligently. He says, Rajan, na yatha bharam badhate, yatha badhati badhate. He says, I'm not troubled by the weight as I've been troubled by the usage of the verb badhati. Because badhati is wrong. It is atmanepati. So you should have used the word badhate. So he says, yatha badhati badhate. He says that this badhati is giving him more trouble than the weight in my head. He says, why the hell you say badhati? So this story is there in Bhoj Prabandha. न तथा बाधते भारम यथा बाधति बाधते. That is the statement. न तथा बाधते भारम. You see how much he has used the alliteration. न तथा बाधति, न तथा बाधते भारम यथा बाधति बाधते. Okay.